Proverbs 13:22. A good man leaves an inheritance to his children's children. Welcome to the King's Capital, everybody. We are looking at a few pairs this week, seeking to build some generational wealth to love our families well and to glorify the Lord. So let's dive right in and see what we're looking at. Right now in front of you, you got DXY. So what I'm looking at DXY real quick is we've kind of pierced the top of this right here, right? So I can mark that out for you guys really quick. But we kind of pierced the top of this high. What does that mean? Well, could mean I think we could get some continuation higher. This is kind of an intermediary high. If I'm looking at the swing highs, we have this one right here. Then we have a bit of a consolidation pattern, right? But we have this high and this low. And right here, this is kind of an intermediary high. So there's a little bit of a trend line. I'm not big on the trend lines, but I do look at them because I think, okay, resting above trend lines, some people call them liquidity lines, is liquidity nonetheless, right? So, you know, if we're kind of looking at this as if we're trading DXY, where would the stops be, right? They'd be above these highs. So my thought for the dollar going in here, I know a lot of eyes are on 104 at the moment. We haven't quite reached it. It's a nice round number coming up into this high. So I do see more upside for the dollar. If we start trading above this level right here, then my guess is that we may come to run these highs at some point. I don't know for sure, but right now I'm looking at some dollar bullishness still. So if you've been following my Instagram, you've been seeing, I've been shorting euro. Now, even last week and the week before, I'm still technically bullish on euro, right? It's still technically bullish. The weekly, though, and we'll take a look at that in a second, did kind of close bearish. We got to close before previous low, but all eyes are kind of on this level. Are we gonna break above and kind of close above these intermediary highs? If we do, then further upside is probably likely. Now, if we pull up, sweep some highs and reject hard, then we'll reassess. But looking at more upside for the dollar, ladies and gentlemen. All right, euro. All right, so this is what I mean. Whoop, let me undo that real quick. Delete that. Delete Mr. Red Line. Let's go. Okay, so for the euro, let me close this up real quick just so we have a little more screen to play with. We were kind of in this larger weekly demand zone. I'm going to get rid of that, right? It was just a zone, right? So here, again, when we're talking swing highs, this intermediary high right here is kind of in confluence with the dollar intermediary high that I was talking about earlier. So our major swing highs are still right here. Here's our swing low. Here's our swing high up here, right? That's kind of what we're looking at. Now, we pulled back into this zone, and it closed pretty bearish, right? Usually, we haven't closed below any of this right here, but we did get a close below this level. I'm going to just go ahead and delete that. Yes, delete the alert. Because we closed below those lows, that tells me that we could probably see further downside and likely fill in our fair value gap right here. Am I 100% on that? Yeah, I'm pretty confident of that. I think we might get some pullbacks coming into the week. So I've been busy shorting this and making money shorting it. There's been some phenomenal setups if you've been playing dollar pairs. What I would like to see coming into this week, so on the daily we didn't get this close below. So I do think we can get a pullback. How big the pullback is going to be, I don't know. We do have a fair value gap up here in the 1.09588 region, right? So I would, that'd be an amazing pullback. We'd probably look for some longs in there. But if price can create a swing low in the next day, okay, I'm probably looking for buys coming up into here, right? Because what will we have? Remember we talked about in the last video, how do we identify those swing low, swing highs, right? We need 3 candles essentially. So pretty simple formula. To identify a swing low or swing high, we need 3 candles. And we're going to go right here. Here's candle 1, candle 2, a little lower, right? So what we need is for price to open, trade into this wick, right? Trade below this, trade below the open of the previous candle, come down, and then just close above. If we break this low, then we have not created that swing low, right? But as long as the next day trades above the low here, then we've created a swing low potentially, right? And where else do we see that? Where do we see a swing high that follows that same pattern? Right here. So again, identifying swing lows, swing highs, you need 3 candles. 1, 2, 3, right? Let me get rid of this. We had this handle. We traded above it, pulled down. Candle 3 traded above this open into this wick barely, but closed below still, right? So 1, 2, 3. We've created a swing high right there, and price continued down. Same thing here. Low, high, low. Here's another swing high. And so once you start kind of understanding this concept, it'll be a little easier to identify where the market is going to move potentially next, right? So again, last time I'm going to say this, identifying a swing low or swing high, we need 3 candles. In this instance, we have this candle closed here, the candle traded below it, pulled up. We'll need the next candle to trade likely below this open or this close, and then pull up, right? It just can't trade below this low. And that's how you identify a potential swing high or swing low. So that's what I'm looking at going into this week. Let's dip down to the 4-hour chart real quick. And we can kind of take a look at some of the trades I took, actually, just a quick review of them. Yeah. Okay, so this last week, I snagged this sell and this sell. Those were like my 2 major sells coming into the week. Let us take a look, and we'll kind of discuss why I took these, okay? That was from a previous week, right? Yeah, I think so. Or no, did I grab that this week? Oh, I see. Okay. Let's look at these trades real quick. All right, these were great sells. We had already identified our trend, right, on the 4-hour, right? We've been bearish as well. So because we understood that we had swing high, swing lows on the 4-hour, we can jump down to this 1 hour and say, okay, swing high, swing low, right? Swing high, swing low. We already established our trend. So once we had broken here, right, we got this 1 hour close below right here. We'd broken this low, right? There we go. We've confirmed. I saw this wick up, and I was up at 4:30 in the morning looking for this to happen. It didn't happen. And actually this week, one of the great things about this week is it seems like some of the really great trades were actually coming around NYSE open. So once we identified that we were in a bearish trend, we had broken previous structure and closed, very simply, the next step was just to identify potential supply zones, right? Here we go. Here is our supply zone, right? Establish the bearish trend. We're looking for price to pull up somewhere into here. So once I had the hourly established, there's probably a Fibonacci in there as well. Let's pull that. I don't think I used a fib on this at all, but right into kind of this, I guess this would be more of an OTE trade, optimal trade entry, right into that 618. Plus it aligned, guys. Here's the other thing I noticed about this and why I took this trade is we had this fair value gap, very tiny fair value gap right here. Now I didn't get in on that fair value gap. I got in, and in fact, I didn't even get in on the spike. I got in on the second push into it. Right, because there was an immediate push. Where are we at? Yeah, right. These candles right here pushed up right into this. You see this last green candle in the 15-minute. Now that's our refined. That's our refined zone right there. That's our refined zone, and then that big wick is this one right here. This green candle plus this purple candle. That was our first green wick, and then price pushed up again, and this is where I got it. Was at the 7 o'clock candle. I just sent my order right back into this supply zone, hoping we'd get it. And yep, we did right on this bearish candle, actually. Let me refine that just one more time, because I do actually think this was a manual entry. Yeah, this was a manual entry. Yep, manual entry right on this. Right, I think it was right after we printed this pin bar. I just went for it. But it made sense on all the higher time frames, right? So even getting down to the 15-minute and 5-minute where I actually entered the trade, it made sense. And then what was our other trade that we took this week? There's that guy. We had one more trade. Here we go. So again, let's jump back to that 4-hour real quick, and we'll talk about this other trade. Forgive me, I'm on my laptop, not as talented with this trackpad. But again, guys, what is our trend? We're trending down, right? We had broken. Here's where that one trade was taken. On our 4-hour, we broke through. Right? New low. Here's our swing low right here. And then we pushed right up into our 4-hour supply zone. Again, there's probably another fib here. I know this chart's getting a little messy. Let me delete some stuff for y'all real quick. This has all been documented. I do a morning journal every morning. I throw a mic up, I start screen recording, and I just talk about the charts. What am I looking at? And I love doing a video journal because it makes me have to be perfectly honest about things. I can't like rationalize things in my head. I have to talk it out loud. I have to talk about the market out loud. What am I seeing? I have to talk about the trade out loud. So when I video journal, it really does help me stay disciplined. It keeps me in line with my rules, right? Because I can't lie to myself out loud like that. It's easier to do. It's easier to lie to yourself if you keep it all in your head. So I highly recommend y'all keep a journal every morning you come to the market. And if you can video journal, even better, right? You look at the market, you assess it. Is there a trade, right? I'm not coming to the market saying, I'm going to trade today. How can I make some money? I look at the market and I think, what is it saying to me? And then I talk about it, right? I'm not coming looking to trade every single day. I didn't get a trade every single day. Real quick, we'll just break this one down, right? 4-hour supply zone, bearish trend, 4-hour supply zone. And where did we enter on this one? Right? You could probably even refine it a little more with just this candle. And some people like to trade off the 50% of a supply or demand zone. That's certainly something you can do. Let's jump down to the 15-minute. Where did I get in on this trade? Again, I think this one was another manual entry. There we go. Hold on. Let's get rid of a bunch of stuff. It's getting messy. Right, actually, it was a very similar setup to this guy over here. Where was he at? Yeah, it was very similar to this guy in a lot of ways. Getting back over. Yeah. So again, right off that. Actually, I think that's a trade I was looking at earlier. Funny. This is the entry on the first trade, y'all. Sorry about that. Anyways, that second trade, that was basically off the 4-hour supply zone, looking for a trend to break. But look at this guy. What do we have here? Again, this is kind of a similar. We already know we're in a bearish trend. We already established earlier that this came into a supply zone. So price broke on the 5-minute and then pushed right back up into our demand zone right here. And that's the best kind of entry. Once you establish, here's the trend in larger time frames, start pushing into supply or demand zones. It's great to jump down onto the 5 or 15-minute, whatever you feel comfortable with, and start looking for a shift in structure, right? So here's where we had it. It pushed up strong, but then broke down on the 5-minute, break a structure right there. Pushed up. Yes, it swept this high, but right back into this supply zone. So cool. That's it for Euro. Let me see what are we looking at coming into this week, right? Let's get back over there. So for Euro, there was one more other sell opportunity you could have taken, but it doesn't really look like it was moving with momentum. With Euro, I am looking for a push back up. I know a lot of people are looking for DXY to hit that 104. So let's clean some of this up real quick. Yep, get rid of that. Get rid of this. We don't need any of this anymore. Cool. I would love to see a deeper pullback. Again, we kind of see all these trend lines as like there's stops above all of this, right? This is liquidity. So knowing that price has come into this larger fair value gap and that we are still kind of in this larger time frame demand zone right here, right? Here's that demand zone. I deleted it earlier, but we're still kind of in that. And knowing that we've potentially put in a swing low here, we just need to see what that next daily candle looks like. I am looking for price to push up. If we can start trading above this high right here, I would expect us to sweep some of this liquidity and maybe start trading into this fair value gap. But that would be a much larger pullback. So we're just going to have to see what happens. But again, this is looking bearish at the moment. So if there's an opportunity to sell, I'm going to take it. Otherwise, let's see what's going to happen with this this intermediary high, right? We got this swing high right here, and this is more kind of a swing low. Yeah, I guess that's our swing high right there. But again, liquidity is likely lying above this trend line. So we've got room and fair value gaps and supply zones above if we can get a deep pullback. Are we going to get it? I don't know. The 1 hour looks great. If we start pushing above this, if we can create a shift in structure, then I'll look for a long on this, but it needs to kind of look like something more like this, right? And then maybe get in somewhere around there. But again, it's kind of in line with the video I made last week where we're talking about just trade entry models, right? We need to see that definite impulse and shift in structure, and then we'll see price come back into a demand zone or a supply zone, depending on what side of the market you're on. So potentially something like that this coming into this week if we get those pullbacks. For all we know, it could just keep pushing down. And I still have a partial open on, I think, this guy. Yeah, I think I have a partial open on that guy still. So just a very tiny amount. So let's move on. GBP USD. This is not one I really trade, but let's just take a look at what we got going on. Yeah, you know, on this one though, we got swing low, swing high, another swing low, swing high. Right here is our last swing high, and here's our swing low. We haven't traded below it, but again, we did get a close. It actually market opened below it and pushed up. So I would expect a swing low to be kind of put in here before we see any more upside. But again, on these larger time frames, like this is coming into a bit of a fib and a supply zone right here. So again, we've had dollar bullishness. There's an expected rate hike, I think, coming in. But we'll see what happens, right? We don't know 100% what the Fed will do, but I think that is a strong potential. Now, listen, if we start breaking below here, we start trading below this, then we'll just start looking for pullbacks to sell. I'll keep selling the euro. Again, you know, if we start, again, this just looks so bearish to me. I know this is a bit of an intermediary structure right here. This is our real swing low. But again, if we start breaking this, I'll look to trade down into maybe into this fair value gap a little deeper. USDcad was buys this week. I didn't catch, or this is usdjpy. I wanted to trade that, but didn't, but should have, because it's been longs all day long. Cool. Yeah, this is what I wanted to trade, but look at price. We just didn't get it. So I wasn't in that trade, unfortunately. But we're breaking down right now. Let's extend this out. This is like a lower time frame. So it'll be interesting to see, actually, because I know there's been talk about the Bank of Japan tightening monetary policy or trying to do something. I think China's looking to buy the yuan or something like that. And other things. So it could affect this currency as well. But just to try and help, like, keep things from declining any further. So we'll see. I don't know. This is a pretty bullish candle here on the 4 hour. It's looking pretty strong into this. This looks like a 1 hour, but here's our 4 hour zone right here. This is a 1 hour zone. Let's get rid of that. Since we're on the 4 hour, we'll just stay on the 4 hour for now, right? Here's our 4 hour. And why is this such a good level to me? And why do I probably see further longs from here? We'll see. Is that we had this fair value gap right here, followed by the supply zone. There's probably a fib to be entered there. Let's see what this guy looks like. Yeah. So it's kind of optimal trade entry stuff right here. Right into that 786. Let's get rid of this guy. Cool. Dang. Yeah, I just did not trade it. If we can start seeing price shift again, I'm looking for longs on this. If we can start seeing price shift, right? Definite shift. If we can trade above this even, right? But if we get a pullback and then trade above this high, that's a definite sign to kind of look for a trade on a pullback into this zone or something like that. That's what I'd be looking for. USDJPY has just been such a bullish currency pair forever, and it's just not one I trade, so I haven't been jumping on it. I tried to jump on, but it didn't happen. So USDcad, I mean, that's a pretty bearish candle, but what does the daily look like? Ooh, what do we touch? Okay, we hit the bottom of this. So huge imbalance, right? Here's our fair value gap. Here's our supply zone. So we did kind of tap into it. This is like weekly, right? We kind of were winding up and broke down. So let's see if we can start trading above here on the weekly, then I think that's a sign of further bullish continuation. Otherwise, if we start rejecting from this larger supply zone, right? We have this one right here. If we start rejecting hard, then we might look for sells. But I mean, this is just extending. So it traded in and filled in this imbalance. So we'll see what happens. We could get a pullback. Like I said, we could get dollar pullbacks. That's kind of what I'm looking for this week. I can't guarantee it, but I'm looking for dollar pullbacks coming into this week. So that could be in line, and maybe it has something to do with this supply zone right here. Maybe price just pulls back into this supply zone before continuing on. Let's see what happens. BTC, now crypto had a crazy week, right? All my alerts were going off. What's up, crypto? Bitcoin, listen, it's not trading below this level. If we start trading below, again, this swing low right here, let me mark it out for y'all, then where's that going to be? Where does that go? There we go. If we start trading below this, okay. Well, what's our next zone? It's right here. Here's our next zone. So we're kind of, with crypto, again, I don't trade this. I'm just looking for a good price to buy and to hold, right? If we get a bull run in 2024, I want to make sure that I'm getting the best prices I can through the end of this year before that happens. But if we start trading below this, then we're coming back down to our low 20,000s. I absolutely think, though, I mean, we have gaps here, we have gaps here. I think we have room to trade down even lower. If we trade below, right, probably get a pull back into this supply zone, into our zone here, right? Could get a pop, I don't know. But if we can't hold this zone, then we're coming back down into the teens, right? I would love to see a $15,000 Bitcoin. I would love to see a $10,000 Bitcoin. We still have this zone sitting right underneath here. Now think about it too. If you're long on this, if you got in here, where are the stop losses going to be? They're going to be below these swing points, right? So anybody who's long on Bitcoin right now that's trading it, kind of swing trading it, the stop's going to be here. Stops are going to be here, right? Tons of people got liquidated, right? But your stop's going to be below that swing low. And you have to believe that stops are going to be below. There's our brush. You have to know stops are lying right underneath here. And what's below that? Here's our supply or demand zone sitting right under here. Also in line with this minus 27 Fibonacci level, that extension. So I think honestly, I think that's a strong level. I think this is a pretty strong breakdown, and it's just a super bearish candle, right? Could we get a bounce? Yeah, but if we got a bounce from here, I'd be looking for a bounce into this zone, right back up into 28 to 30,000 before further continued downside. Let's look at XRP real quick. Nice little bounce happening right here. I did call this with my buddies. I was like, hey, dude, 45 cents incoming. Price crashed 45 cents. And we got a little bit of a dead cat bounce right here. But again, this is not a bullish candle. There's nothing like screaming like this is not getting bought up like crazy right now, right? The week ends tomorrow. So unless this gets bought up like crazy and just super wicks up, this is still bearish. This is just liquidating stops that were below this level. We could liquidate below there. I would love to see a sub 30 cent because again, where we have to think, where are people that are trading this? Where their stops reside? They're residing under these swing lows, right? Under this level are stop losses. People that are actively trading this, looking for, looking to make money on this long, right? So stops are going to be below there, but there's plenty of room to, even below that, to come down into the 20 cents. I would love to see that because I would buy a ton. But again, this is a bit of a dead cat bounce to me. If we get a push up, it'll likely come into this weekly supply zone. Let's see what that looks like on the day there real quick. Yeah, we could even refine that a little more. I mean, it's that whole thing, right? But we could kind of refine it to the 60 cent region, right? So if we get a bounce, it'd be a bounce up into here and then probably further downside. At least that would be my hope. Now, if we start trading above, then we could see a higher push, but it's just not looking like that at the moment. So that's XRP, hbar. Yeah, super wick to the top side on the daily. Kind of, again, what do we have here? Another supply zone, right? Here was a swing high. Created a small imbalance here that we did tap into briefly, but we've come back up into this supply zone. Rejected really hard. We did clear out any stops that were below this. We bounced up. Yeah, we closed above it, but again, it looks like we might be rejecting here. So we'll have to see how the weeks close out with crypto again. I'm not a day trader with crypto, but I look at the weeklies and the dailies and try and assess like where the larger moves are coming in the market. Yeah, swing low. There's definitely stops below this. So man, I would love to see it trade back down into here. But again, we'll see what happens. Casper. Casper's just in our zone still. If we close below this, I think that kind of signals for the downside, but we definitely need to trade below this swing low right here, I think, for that to happen. And if we do, then we're coming back down to 2.5, 3 cents. ADA, what do we got? Again, kind of just in our zone. Nothing's really changed here a whole lot. Like, everything dumped, but ADA is just kind of chilling, kind of consolidating. You know, it's really not doing a whole lot. If we start trading above this level, then okay, cool. We get like a weekly close or something above that. That'd be awesome. NAS, took a bunch of sells on NAS this week. Some worked out, some did not. This buy, okay, let's talk about trading rules real quick. I took this buy, and I didn't obey my rules, and I got smacked for it. And not really smacked. It was break even, and that was the problem. I shouldn't have went break even on my buy, right? So how did I trade this? Trading that silver bullet thing, Casper, a trader, kind of put out this strategy for NAS. I was like, all right, this is what I'm going to try, because I've never traded NAS until like 2 weeks ago, and I'm loving it now. This is like one of my favorite pairs to trade. Every morning, for my time, it's 7 a.m. After 7 a.m., what I'm looking for is a fair value gap in the market, right? So here is 7 all the way back here. It back and forth, right? Didn't give us, boom, gave us our fair value gap. That was a bullish fair value gap, right? I think that's called a BC. And then what you do essentially is put your buy at the top of this fair value gap, or at the start of the fair value gap, right? So if we're on the buy side, here's the top of it, right? If it was the sell side, it'd be the opposite. So I put my buy there, stop underneath the first candle that creates the fair value gap. So 1, 2, 3 candles you need to create a fair value gap. And so below that was my stop. And then once price shifted and made a significant shift above this marker, proper displacement, I went break even. What should I have done? Okay, if I wanted to manage this a little more, now he says don't touch it, just set it and forget it. And I think he's right, guys. Here I am trying to be slick, go break even, sick. This is an awesome trade. I should have just put it below this low, right? Here's our protected low right here, right? We've created this swing high, swing low with a significant shift in market. I would have been protected there, and I would have mitigated some risk on this trade, but because I went break even when price came back down, it tapped me out and then continued to my take profit. So bummer on that one, but that's a great strategy. This one was great. Oop, let me fix that real quick. This was an awesome win on NAS. And again, we're just kind of going for 1 to 2 on these. That's all we're going for, is just 1 to 2. So anyways, oh yeah, and it didn't get picked up until here, I believe. Anyways, good trades on NAS this week. Listen, y'all, if you have any questions about trading, find me on Instagram, message me. I'd be glad to answer y'all. Feel free to message me. I'll take the time. I'll answer you. Community is small right now, so looking to grow it big. So like, subscribe, do all those things since you're watching this on YouTube. Find me on Instagram at TheKingsCapital, and on Twitter at TheKingsCap. If there's anything you want me to look at, just let me know. I would love to take a look at whatever chart you're looking at for now. But again, for Euro coming into this week, we'll just recap really quick. Euro, we're looking for potential pullbacks on Euro into this week. If we can start trading above that, then maybe we'll get a deeper pullback. But that is in confluence with DXY. DXY kind of printing something on the daily right there. That's interesting. But that's in confluence with DXY potentially giving us a deeper pullback. And I think I was looking at the weekly. Yeah. So I'm looking at this on DXY. So we'll see. If we can get a deeper pullback followed by further highs, that would be amazing. We did close above this intermediary high, so that gives me confidence that there could be further upside for the dollar, which means we're likely selling more Euro. But again, we need to start trading below this this swing low. So anyways, all right, y'all. It's been amazing. God bless you guys. This is the King's Capital signing out. Peace.